What's up, everybody? Now, today I want to talk about the merge. So, you all know that the ETH merge is coming, but there's no specific date. But there are a lot of narrative coming along. You see in the mass media, you also see a lot in crypto Twitter. But I think there is some misconception, even myself, because of all this information. So, I went to read up during the weekend and try to condense some of the information that I learned. So let us start with what is the merge. So the merge actually marks the end of proof of work for ETH and goes into a full transaction into POS, proof of stake. Now, if we think about it, the ETH mainnet right now plus the beacon chain is actually the merge. So the beacon chain is the ETH proof of stake. It has actually been running for a while already, right? I think the first start was December 1st, 2000. So about a year plus. So if you see like Binance taking ETH 2.0, KuCoin taking ETH 2.0, or Lido and any others, those are staking on the ETH beacon chain, right? So it's already running, just not producing block. You need to know this because it will connect later in a while. Now with this, the merge, the big question that we ask is, will it lower gas? There are a lot of discussion over this, but primarily, technically, it will not lower the gas. Now I'm going to explain this because some of the users, or rather like us, at first when I understand it, I also thought that POS will help to reduce gas. Then I soon learned that actually it does not reduce gas because of several reasons. So if we think of blockchain, so they have actually three layers: the execution layer, the consensus, and the data availability layer. So what is changing for ETH is actually this layer called the consensus layer, where it changed from proof of work to proof of stake. But when we are paying for gas, we are actually paying for the gas used on the execution layer. So there will not be any changes to the gas fee. Two more things I want to add is that a blockchain sells block space. We have Avalanche selling block space, Phantom also selling block space. And it is based on supply and demand. So if there are more people wanting to use that particular block space, the gas fee will be high. Just like Phantom, right? So in March, when everyone was piling up, going into the solidly to do yield farming, the gas fee also went up like crazy, right? So you have like 10,000 Gwei. And you also be looking at the block size. So this is the Ethereum block size. So after the London upgrade, which was last August, if I'm not wrong about the date, so they actually expanded their block size. So initially it was fixed, and now it's sort of like variable. And also it depends on the complexity of the apps. So the dApps that we are using depends on how complex is it. So if it's more complex, it actually use more transaction. So these are two more components we need to take note, which is why there are no major changes to the gas fee. Now, if there are no major changes to the gas fee, then why are they merging? Now, they are merging for several reasons. Two reasons that I read is, so number one is lower security cost. Now, what we see here is the ETH mining rig. So to set up a mining rig is, of course, because you are buying hardware, so it's expensive and also use a lot of energy. So by lowering the security cost, meaning that more people can take part by giving us the access, like less energy and less cost needed to achieve the consensus. That means you and me can become a validator easily, take part and help to validate and be part of the consensus. So in ETH2, you can actually do that on a Raspberry Pi. Of course, there's the criteria of having 32 ETH, but if you do not have 32 ETH, you can also take part in pools, right? Those pooling pools like Lido, or there's some Rocket pool, right? So they pool your ETH together to do validation. So this one of the reason, like lowering the security cost, so everyone can take part and be validator. Now, another reason is for scalable purpose, thinking about the future. Now here you see EIP 4844. So this is the sharding that everyone's talking about. I think near the blockchain has already implemented something similar or along this line. There's also the plan to do statelessness, and you have Vitalik post here with a very big long flow chart. I'll put it in the description below. Basically, they are thinking about future. If you are using proof of work it's not that easy to compared to proof of stake, right? To extend the capability of the blockchain. But by doing proof of stake, you're able to do that. There are a lot of gigabrain, or rather, there are a lot of big stuff over here. Even I am taking time to comprehend. So you can take a look at the flowchart itself. But the goal here is to extend it for the future. Now, which leads me to this post. There is a lot of Twitter thread out there, like stating what are the benefits, why they are bullish about Ethereum, and how is it going to change the future. But because Twitter thread, the things might be condensed. So when we receive it, even myself, so we take it at face value, there are some things that we need to clarify. So particularly, I want to touch on item 1 and 3. Item 2 here, this 99.9% network operating cost reduction, right, is actually talking about the proof of stake. That means you can easily use the Raspberry Pi to do it. You don't need a mining rig, so you reduce energy costs, you reduce hardware costs, right? Or you can take part in the pool. Now, when people look at this 90% ETH issuance reduction, some people know, some people don't know. That's why I want to highlight. So when it talks about 90% ETH reduction, it's actually talking about the supply, the daily supply, the daily issuance. So every day, ETH will issue some Ethereum from the mining right now. So right now, every day, so this is from April to Saturday, you can see that you can see that about daily issuance is about 13,500 or 13,300 ETH issued per day. So that's about 4.3% of the total supply. Now this 90% reduction is because once it moved to proof of stake, right? So it will become like 0.3 to 0.4% issuance. That means there will be a big drop in the daily supply or daily issuance of the Ethereum. Another interesting thing is that you cannot forget about the EIP 1559, which burns the base fee. So if you are not aware, or rather you forget about EIP 1559, what it does is actually from an auction-based fees mechanism, they turn into the fees is broken down into two parts. There's a minor tips and there's also the base fee. Now these base fee are being burned. At the peak of the NFT hype, there was actually deflationary. That means there was burning more than what ETH is producing daily. So this is the all-time chart after EIP 1559 produced. So you can see that they actually burned about 2 million ETH. And the net issuance for this period, right, it was only 1.2 million. So it's actually deflationary. That means you're burning more than producing. So this EIP 1559, together with the reduce in daily issuance, is what they meant by this 90% ETH issuance reduction. So less supply of ETH in the market, ETH becomes deflationary, right, in the long run. Now, another thing that I want to highlight is this 50 to 100% staking yield increase. So currently right now, if you are staking in Lido or if you are staking in KuCoin or Binance, the typical interest rate is between 3 to 5% APR. Now, this 50 to 100% staking yield increase is talking about this rate, right? So it will become maybe, so some Gigamine go and calculate, and the link is in the description. A lot of factors, a lot of assumption, but so they are expecting it to be around 10%, the ETH yield, right? ETH staking yield. So imagine right now, if you stake on Luna, you are getting 7 to 8%. You stake ETH, you get 10%. The question is, will you want to stake or not? So rewards are given to the stakers over the miners. So because there's no miners already, no POW is POS, so they are given to the stakers, and this staking yield also increase. Now with that comes the question, right? We know that what is the merge? We know that there's no gas fee lowering. We know that the benefit of the merge. But when is it coming, right? When is the merge coming? Because a lot of the narrative out there are talking about different dates. Majority of them are talking about Q2. Some of them are talking about June. But there are some facts that we need to know. So the first thing is it is already on the K-Link testnet, right? So it has already been launched, but there are some implementation issue. So this is from the latest core dev update. So all hands are on deck to make sure that this works out fine. Another thing I want to share with you is this site called WenMerge. So after Kalina, there are still other stuff. There's like Glory, this a lot of funny names. But yeah, before it comes to mainnet. So it's still going to take some time. But if you want to monitor, you can use this WenMerge.com. So it's not about if it's coming, it's just when is it coming. When we talk about when is it coming, we also talk about this beacon chain, right, which has already been running that I said before. So you first ship on December 1st, 2020. And currently, right now, there are 10 million ETH stake, right? They are locked. Some of them are via Lido, so they are not like, it's a liquid staking, so they have the Lido ETH to be using. But overall, 10 million ETH are staked. I just want to point out one thing, and people are always talking about it, is that when they put in their ETH, their 32 ETH, right, to lock up during the start of the beacon chain, the price was around 1,000, right? $700 to $1,000 the ETH. Right now, as I'm talking, ETH price is about 3,500. Will there be a situation where all this unlock happen and people start selling, and then the ETH price crashes? So this is the big questions people are asking, right? If the unlock takes place, then GG already for ETH. This is from a Reddit post. I'll also put it in the description below. I take a lot of information from here. It's super helpful. First of all, not all 10 million will be sold. It depends on the user itself, right? You might want to sell, you might not want to sell. But the key thing is here, there's a built-in queue system, right? So every day, there can be a maximum of 1,125 validators that can be released, right? It takes a queue. So if you times 32 ETH, that's about 36K of ETH. So the second thing is this. We're coming back to this. You are able to earn 10% yield in ETH. And will you continue to hold? Maybe you will sell a bit, right? Maybe you will not sell all because you want to continue to earn this 10% in ETH for the staking rewards. So then the last thing is this, right, that I want to share. It's between the merge. So let's say the merge happens, right? It takes place. Until the first hard fork takes place, no one is able to withdraw, right? And between this period, there is no issuance. Nothing is being produced for 6 months. Whatever ETH you have on hand is whatever you have on hand already. So during that period, if you think about it, if people pull everything out from the exchange, there might be some price spike, not financial advice. So that 6 to 8 months will be very interesting. Now that you know all this information, you are also looking at the staking options, right? You want to take part, but you don't have 32 ETH, right? I also don't have 32 ETH. So you can look at Lido. So going to Lido, you can actually stake and earn 3.9%. Or you can go to Rocket Pool, and you can stake here also. I think the rates are about 4%. So it deviates between 3 to 5%, like I said earlier. So all these are pooling options where you can contribute your as little as 0.1 ETH and join, and you get liquid staking. That means you get a receipt, like a token. And for example, Rocket Pool, you get RETH. Then from RETH, you can go and degen and do other stuff. I think for this video, I just want to share that I got a lot of information. I took the weekend to read. Yeah, so these are the reference. I hope you learned something today. And just want to share two things. I hope you like the way that I present. I'm also trying to slow down because some people say I speak too fast. And second thing is I'm using this kind of drawing. Hopefully with all the information and also the reference. Finally, hope you learned something today, and thanks for watching. Bye bye.